anybody can become a journalist. That's the sad thing about it, or the good thing about this business. Anybody can become a journalist, but I think that it takes more than just professors' training and your academics to actually do this work. You need to be able to understand that you're doing it for public good. You need to, it's almost like a calling. And I know I said this and he laughed and David was laughing, but I think sometimes you need to want to do it because of, not for yourself, not for your celebrity status or whatever it is. But I think what has happened is because, again, because we're chasing numbers, we're chasing audiences, we're chasing whatever, it becomes such that you can get a comedian or anybody to become a radio announcer. It doesn't make them a journalist, although they will claim to be journalists. Or you get a socialite who reads the news and therefore becomes a journalist. They are not all journalists. And there's that distinction which for me matters. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to be put in the same basket as all those others. Because I'm doing this because I believe in what I'm doing, and what I'm doing is doing good for people, even if a few of them don't like it because we attack them or criticize them, but that's the nature of the business. But when you then lump all of us with the comedians and the socialites and it becomes that we are journalists, then it becomes a problem for me. But I am not ignoring the fact that everyone, like I said earlier, you can write, you can podcast, you can televise yourself, whatever, because digital technology has made that possible. You can even become a writer because blogging is an art in itself, and it's writing. You can publish yourself. So I have no objection to all of that. But when we are all lumped together as one, then I kind of get a sense that we're losing track. And that's why I'm insisting that we need to bring to the table skills that they cannot, in a month of Sundays or 10 years from now, cannot be able to do. And those skills are the ones I want Prof. and Prof to give.
Let me talk.
I was just going to say one. I mean, yeah, it's the media owners who actually employ the DJs and whatever, the socialites and whatnot. But my question is also, I mean, my other concern is when you are saying that we should limit guys who practice journalism up to a certain level, it goes back to why don't they employ all graduates in that case? Because we have a situation where 80% of correspondents are actually not graduates from colleges, whether diploma or otherwise. But they are the ones that media houses tend to want to keep on in their stable because they are cheap. It's cheap labor, despite everything else. And then that's, it just kind of kills the whole aspect of it. You have a graduate who is not going to get a job. And anyway, most of the times the graduates are not that good anyway. The correspondent on the streets is
much better.
Not only street smart, but also more aggressive, more knowledgeable, and actually what you're looking for in terms of a reporter. They've got the hunger to succeed. A graduate will think, oh, I never did it in school, and anyway, according to the theory, this is what happened. Oh, professor told us this. That's Prof. You're on the street. You're doing a story, you better do it and do it well. And that takes a lot of street smarts and a lot of what I would say is not the theory. It's not the book that we teach in school. So the whole thing about using, I'm not for locking out anybody to become a journalist. I don't think that's in our place. It shouldn't be our place that they cannot practice to be journalists. I think we can try and help them. We can provide them with opportunities to further their education and get the papers that they need. But at the end of the day, sometimes journalism is not the book. Journalism is the nose. Journalism is the heart. Journalism is, you wake up and see something and you see a story and you know how you can do it much better than anybody else.
All right.
And that is what drives you. And it can never ever be replicated or produced in a classroom. I'm sorry to say, profs, it will never be reproduced in a classroom. We cannot inject it into somebody. It is there or it is not.